I'm always so shocked when it works because it's usually preceded by a bunch of failed attempts. But anyway, what is today's video about? It's the homeopathic universe. What in the heck does that even mean? So when you notice something happen to you over and over again, and you're up to 3, and you're like, oh my God, this is the 3rd separate scenario where this same thing has happened. Say it's like a little conflict, a particular sort of conflict in a relationship. Or, okay, I'm just going to use my partner as an example. I'm so sorry, but I hope no one watching this contacts him and asks him about this. But anyway, this thing that keeps happening to him over and over again, and I just looked up all of the cards that pertain to our relationship, like the dates that we got together. For most people, they just have a wedding date and that's it. But we were together for 12 years, and then we had a wedding. So I used that, but I also used the very first day that we were like, oh, I think we're in love. So when I used those, it was very clear to me that this is one of the most difficult years of our lives. And I've been saying that. I'm like, oh my God, when is it going to let up? Because it's not just me, it's him. It's, we're dealing with different things. In fact, it's interesting because I noticed this shift really accelerating for me in May. And I was like, why May? Well, that's our original anniversary month. And we got a really difficult long-range card. We had the 7 of Hearts as a long-range yearly card. And with the other one, it's the Jack of Hearts. With our other anniversary, our wedding was with the Jack of Hearts is the yearly card. And so what I've noticed with him, the theme is that he is being unjustly accused. He does, and he even said it in the card today. It was so sad. Like, I'm dealing with my own, like, boom, 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 3 things in a row. And then he's dealing with his thing, boom, boom, boom. It just keeps happening, like in all of his friendships and relationships, is that he does good. His intention is good. It's generous. It's giving. It's really taking care of somebody else in some huge way. And then it somehow gets turned around that he gets unjustly accused and, like, not just not thanked, although that's happening too, or treated a little disrespectfully, but overt attack. And that was the worst case of this, but it's all gradients of that, where it's just this complete backfiring, lack of appreciation. Here I'm just trying to do all this good, and it blows up in my face. And so I've just got a world of things to say about that. I'm riding along with him. And so I thought, okay, iMessage is best. So I said, in my experience, when that kind of thing keeps happening, it's the universe using homeopathy to ask you if you still want something. So here's how you deal with that. If you have something happening over and over again and it's painful, okay, number 1, an injustice of some kind is happening. And it happens over and over, and it's painful. And you want to get in your head about it and argue about it. There is an argument living inside you against this scenario, because the reason that it's happening is because you've attracted it and you need to have a conversation with it. So Stuart has a memory of being pretty young, able to shovel snow, but quite young, like by the standards of today of, like, would you ask your 7-year-old to shovel your enormous driveway? Well, that kind of thing happened to someone who was born in 1960. And his dad was like, yeah, I want you to shovel all of this. And then he did it, and he did a really good job. And when his dad got back, there was either a punishment or a criticism, or it wasn't good enough. And just the level of devastation for that, here's this beautiful, sincere human desire. Oh, I want to please my dad. I love him. He's asked me to do this thing. He's the kind of person that just loves to work, and he values having this task. And then there's this crestfalling moment of enormous disappointment. And so there are a lot of other scenarios like that, but we tend to sort of pick a memory around which the experience can form. the experience can kind of attach itself, and it's like a matrix of some kind. And that's okay because it sort of gives us a handle. But chances are, if that kind of thing happened, the atmosphere was set up for that kind of thing to happen, not only in the marriage, but from parent to each child, and then from the children on each other. So, this wound, this particular wound, I've done good, and now I'm getting punished for it. So, what I said is, in my experience, the universe is asking you if you want something. So, this thing keeps happening. So, that the first layer, I didn't explain it in quite this detail to him, but the first layer is the argument. You need to have a conversation with this. And when I was having my experience, I was just kind of being rolled and tumbled by this experience emotionally, becoming aware of how it's a mother issue for me, a mother wound. And then my guidance just said to me, just talk it out. Talk out your side of the story, do the talking, do the arguing in a sense. And it really was therapeutic from the standpoint that I got to make my case. And this is a very important stage, but it's the stickiest that we want to get stuck in. We have to be really careful not to get stuck in the argument part of it. But you are becoming your own advocate. You are making the case for yourself. It wasn't right that this person did this to me. Okay, number two, define the hurt. What exactly hurt about that? What exactly was painful? What are the messages you are taking from it? If you could fill in the blanks, it was as though this person telling me that whatever I am, or that I did, or that I have, or whatever it is, finish the sentence because that's your wound. And it doesn't matter if their behavior is saying that or not. Don't get caught up in the present when you're digging around in the past. Because the mind wants to engage then if you bring it into, oh, it's locked between me and this person. So for my husband, it's this person that hasn't been in our lives very long, and she just has done the most irrational thing. And some of you know my story, and that's the biggest wound for him. That's the opportunity he's being presented with, is to have this argument and say, this is just so obviously unjust and inappropriate, and she's just wrong. And it's like, good, good, good. The universe is giving you this opportunity where now you are not that 7-year-old that was victimized by something. You're the adult. You're looking out over and you're going, oh, that person is really, they're really little. Or I love that person, but I can see their issues. I can see exactly what kind of made them do that. I can separate their story from my story. Nonetheless, here's my emotional experience. So I'm working us down into the level of feeling the wound. Feel it to heal it. Oh, hi, Jeannie. So this is the most important thing. If you're dealing with a difficult situation, get as petty, childish as you can and feel the hurt, because that is what's going to unlock it for you. So for me, I was going down deep into this situation, and when the third thing happened, it was like whack-a-mole, whack-a-mole, whack-a-mole. And then, so what happened on top of all of this, I'm taking this jog, I'm working it out verbally, making my case. And then I got a flat tire because I did a really idiot thing. And I'm about a mile from home. And then I realized, oh, I'm a mile from my very dear friend, dear friend for decades, going back to this church we went to, and then the Dances of Universal Peace, and now she's been our EMDR therapist, both Stuart and I, and just this, and she's a neighbor, and she's just become this incredibly important person in our life. So I'm like, oh, I'm about a mile from her house. Max and I'll just jog there, because I'm like, what's one more mile on my jog? Thank you, God. Oh, it's so hot. So I'm running, and I'm like, even though this isn't a crisis, it feels like a crisis. I had stuff I was going to do today, and here I am stranded. I don't have my cell phone. And I went to 2 doors and got no answer, which is part of the wound, part of the homeopathic medicine. The universe is like, nobody can see you. Nobody cares. People don't think that you're the kind of person that they want to help. They don't want to get involved with you. There's something wrong with you. So I'm beginning to go, oh, this, I'm building the homeopathic medicine. Here's this big pill from my childhood. 3 older brothers, chaotic dysfunction stuff going on. And I I internalized the reason that I didn't get enough attention. It must be because I'm just icky. I'm one of those icky people that you just don't want to interact with. God knows where I pulled this out of, but that was my belief. And I think it's because my brother Dave was so incredibly cruel. And he was 7 years older than me, pre adolescent, adolescent, teenager, always like invested in, and he's a 3 on the Enneagram. So he's cool. He's so cool. And I want his approval more than anybody. So guess how many people I've had relationships with who are just like Dave. My husband is born the same year as him. Yeah. Jeannie says, I did something similar with getting down to what I call my dog wound. Had to go back to my childhood and feel the pain I felt then to understand my fear of dogs. Long story short, I created a boundary disguised by fear. Oh my gosh, I would love to hear that story. But yeah, exactly. It's like you have to validate that child who is saying, this is so painful. And you're going, but this pain really isn't. Okay, I got a flat tire. People didn't answer the door. And now I'm kind of feeling like I'm in crisis mode because this other really big thing had just happened the day before. And it's continuing to unfold. And it's just like really painful with a friend. It's like, I just don't understand this, but I do. Um, and then I get to my friend Andrea's house, my dear therapist friend, and I said, "Yeah, I'm having this difficult thing going on with this friend of mine, and she's a queen of diamonds, and for some reason, if I'm not paying her to be my therapist, even though she's a really dear friend and we have decades of history, for some reason, she's a shit listener when she doesn't have her hat on. When she does, she is magic. She is magic." But she's in her 70s. I don't know why. Is it because I'm an icky person and she just doesn't want to deal with my kind of problems because I'm sticky, I'm enmeshed, there's something dysfunctional about me. So when I share my thing, her compassionate response is, oh, and that was it. And then the next half hour was, God, it's good to see you. I love you. It's been way too long since we've hung out. How's your dog? And then she's super ADHD, and we get into looking at her phone and how she's figured out how to put photos into albums. And I'm scrolling through all these pictures of her son and the grandchild, and it's like, I've been tracking her story, and I'm like really involved. But I'm sitting there going, why doesn't she care about this really big thing that's happening with me? This is really painful. So I'm getting into jab again. And then I call Stuart, and I call Stuart on her phone because I don't have my phone with me. Call and text, call, text, get distracted, call, text, no response. So there it is, getting blindsided. Someone's not answering the door. Someone's not responding to me. This is like 4 or 5 in a row now. I'm not being responded to. No one can see me. It must be because something's wrong with me. So here's this big homeopathic pill. Let's put some chocolate on it. Makes it go down easier. And the homeopathic pill. Okay, good. There's more comment. Jeannie, I just love how we get together and we just sort of do this informal therapy. And everybody else, hi. I love you so much. People that watch this, I love you. I honor you. Leave a comment. I do go back and read them, and you have been. I did something similar. Okay, the dog wound. You created a boundary disguised by fear. Dad brought home a dog and immediately imagined our whole ass future, but he didn't let me keep it and made a very 6 of clubs joking statement. Then put it in a box where I cried all night, watched until someone took the dog out of the box. Did they like take the dog away? Like they thought you were going to have this dog? So you imagined your whole ass future with this dog. You had a lifetime with this dog. And someone took the dog out of the box. Okay, waiting for the rest of the story. I am so glad you're telling this story. Okay, so here's my choice. Do I finally have a breakdown and cry? Yes. I never wanted to feel that again, so I subconsciously created a fear of them. Oh my God, you didn't get to keep the dog. It was a love wound. Something was taken away from you, just like with the cruelty, the capriciousness, the whole club energy of making light of it, the cruelty. And, we've talked about Six of Clubs. I love them, and they can be, when they're dysfunctional, they can be downright cruel and abusive. Yeah, I was with one for 6 years who was emotionally abusive. Yeah, he told me my cousin sent it to me. Wow. So it was like this gift, and what you were really afraid of was loss. And you disguised it with fear. How confusing. When did you figure that out? And have you had homeopathic doses of the same thing? Did you have something that you love or someone that you love taken away over and over again? Or the promise of something and then it was withdrawn? That's the homeopathic medicine I'm talking about, is like the wound has to happen over and over again. And wouldn't you know it, I'm watching Foyle's War, fourth season. I freaking love this show. And there's this little boy who won't talk because he's traumatized. He was in a bombing, London, World War II. It was an elementary school, and he saw the carnage. He made it through, but he wasn't talking to anyone, and he just like became really withdrawn. Well, he and this lady who was taking care of him, this wonderful friend, they're walking through the woods, and these guys just happened to set off a bomb. It didn't hurt them, but suddenly everything came back, and he became a normal, annoying little boy because he got the homeopathic dose of the explosion, and it caused him to feel the feelings that got frozen, to come to the clarity of, no, I don't want this, and I'm going to hold myself in compassion. And that was a really awful thing that happened. And now I'm here as an adult to acknowledge how awful that was. I can be my own parent, my own container, and say, yes, honey. And all you have to do is feel it, because while you're feeling it, if you can create that space, it's because your adult has shown up offering the antidote. So you feel invisible, you see yourself. You got something taken away, you provide something. And this is where you are healing your own need. And in that moment of feeling the pain, so I come home, Andrea's like, we just have to take you home. So we come home, it's like 30 seconds to get here. And Stuart's like, what? And he's like, he's got a lot of stress going on because of these cards we have this year. And I'm like, I called you and called you and called you. Didn't it occur to you that I was gone for an unusually long amount of time? No, I don't know where my phone is. And it's like, number 5, I can't see you, I don't acknowledge you. And so I ran off crying and took a shower. And that's when I felt, oh, I got to the guts of it. And I was like, this feels silly to cry. But it felt silly because there was like a 6 or 7-year-old that was like, that's who had to cry. And we so often derail that emotional cleansing because it doesn't match the present. But when you're getting the knocks on the door from the universe, and like, this little part of you is ready to cry and feel and release this wound. And the minute you feel it, you have shifted it forever. And you will not attract that same situation because you're not vibrating at that frequency anymore. The compassion creates the shift. So if you're getting that shit ass injustice thing thrown at you over and over again, first say thank you to the universe. Oh, Maxie, we had an adventure, didn't we? My Maxie was with me. It's good you jumped in the lake. Poor black dog in the hot sun. But anyway, yes, first thank the universe that this is happening. And number 2, say, okay, I think I'm ready to feel this, whatever is mine to feel and to heal. And so I threw a whole bunch of cards last night about this situation where I thought maybe I really fucked up. And every single card said, tell your story, stay with your truth. It's what I call getting on your side of the fence. And you say, well, this is how I was feeling, and this is why I did what I did, and that's a whole other thing. But I was 5 I was in a sixth house year ruled by Venus. Sixth house rules pets, and my Venus in Taurus, and I just said hi to my pet. Wow. And my Venus and Taurus are in the sixth opposition to my 12th house, Pluto in Scorpio. The story came out when I started studying annual projections. I'm guessing it's projections in astrology. Oh my God, isn't your life the most fascinating lab class that you can take to understand your craft? Yeah, I kept losing my boyfriends just when I thought everything was great, and we start talking about the future. Boom, they're gone, and that happening a lot for a long time, recurring cycles. Another cycle is that the sixth house also rules work, health, and routine, and I would put out of nowhere uh, out of nowhere leave jobs, or they fired you because you were pregnant and you had that weird thing, and never look back, like what happened with the dog. Yeah. And so that gaping, bleeding, and let's just cover it over with something else. And as a five of diamonds, nine of diamonds, you're going to be working with loss and how to resource yourself. It's profections, not projections. It's an ancient timing technique. Profections. Well, I got to look that word up. Also, I've been getting a lot of treatment from people that feels like they're telling me, you're not smart and I don't respect you. You aren't smart. I don't respect your intelligence or your learning or whatever. And it's like, you're like, how could that show up? And it's like, well, I'm putting it out there because it was drummed into me by my older brothers. And it's just so dumb. Profections. Oh, that's fascinating. Have you ever heard the word profection? Oh, look it.
You gotta recut the joints a little bit. There you go.
He just made this frame for his son who's getting married the end of August, and we're going to put a picture in there of them from our wedding 2 years ago. It's so cute. Wow. It's fantastic. Are you excited? Okay, so that's them. You're kissing. Wow, that's great. The colors all look really good.
You don't mind the black, do
I
you?
like the black. Sorry. So anyway, back to this homeopathic dose of, and you get, like with Jeannie, you end up getting re-injured over and over again, right? And sometimes you're attracting worse and worse things to happen to you. Like for me, it was just my older brother treating me like shit, because that's what adolescent boys do to their younger sisters. But then ultimately, I was in an emotionally abusive relationship, because I had to heal from that. But you know what? That was thin soup on top compared to the wound underneath, where someone made me. I believed someone's behavior toward me that's always the wound. You believe something about yourself because of their treatment of you. And you signed on the dotted line, which is a great segue into the discussion of the shadow. Okay, Jeannie, loss of valuable things, people, and everything, basically a big lesson for, as a nine of diamonds, my ruler, and challenging karma. Yeah, exactly. It's a big one. It's a tough one. And you are abundantly resourced and able to deal with it because you picked that card. I picked the seven of diamonds because I had access to all the nines. And I had a lot of relationships to complete. Okay, one of them was this. I talked about this before, and I'm going to try not to go into too much detail, but when I ran into him on this same jog, this same route that I went, and when I ran through that space, I was like, whatever, there's just really nothing here. He sexually abused me. And when I saw him this time, I said, yeah, we can call that rape. We can call it that. I should edit that out of the video, but I won't. But it was like 20 some years ago. And coming into the clarity of that was so huge for me. But then I had to ask myself, what was I trying to get out of it? So he used me. That's the theme. I got used. He also got a lot of feng shui. He's an extremely wealthy guy that opened up this very successful restaurant in town. It's been running for a couple decades now. I gave him free feng shui. I didn't intend for it to be free. I also painted for him. He never gave me a gift certificate, never gave me jack shit for everything that I did. Plus, he took from me, that way. But oh, he took me to Florida one time to meet his stupid parents who were like, oh, no, you should not have a girl like that. You need the right kind of girl from New York. She's not the one. You know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, hey, this isn't that, okay? So I felt like if I prostituted myself, then I would get this great trip to Florida. Okay, what was I trying to get out of it? I was a single mom. I was incredibly poor, terrified every day that I wasn't going to make it financially. Economic independence 101. I can manifest a low cost just about anything. I can keep the costs low on this side, but the making money thing, we're still working on that. But I managed to own a little condo and have a $250 a month mortgage payment for a while. But anyway, I thought I was going to get something out of it. So that's why I prostituted myself. That is the shadow. And that is what I had to go in and forgive. I had to own that. And for some reason, running into him this time allowed those things to shuffle to the surface. So yeah, do I use people? Looking in the mirror with this stuff is pretty freaking intense. Have I caused hurt by making somebody feel unseen or unacknowledged? Yeah, we perpetuate the wound, right? Like, when we think of psychopaths and bullies, they're perpetuating the wound that they received. Well, we do the same thing. You don't have to be a psychopath to do that. But anyway, yeah, that whole shadow side was really hard. And then what you have to realize, I didn't need that from him. I had it myself all along. I didn't need money from him. I didn't need any kind of caretaking or watching or big brother energy, which he definitely didn't provide. He was so incredibly self-absorbed. It was just sick. And it was like, I needed to have that relationship to be like, you know what? At this point in my life, I didn't need it. I thought he had something to offer me, but I didn't need it. So I think that's the way you heal from that. And so through the self-compassion of the injustice, owning the ego need and the ego delusion, coming to the truth that you never lacked what you thought you did, you come into rebirth and you have more conscious choice as you navigate relationships and stuff like that. Next time that you walk by that big, what do you call those, pothole, you can walk around it. And then the next time you'd go down a different street. Just don't go down that street. Okay. What supported me through it was the 3 of clubs being able to take that pain and express it with art. Is that your ascending? Oh, that's your other karma card. The blessing card. The 3 of clubs, being able to take that pain and express it with art. When I couldn't fall into the cycle of cutting, that event at 5 pushed me to self-harm just to not feel the emotional pain, all rooted in the pain I felt at 5. Wow. When I couldn't, I'd fall into the cycle of cutting. That event at 5 pushed me to self-harm just to not feel the emotional pain. Wow, which says what an incredibly tender heart you have. Tender, compassionate, available. There's an inner child archetype that comes with the 5 of diamonds that I see them having to deal with that issue of, can I hold on to that freshness, that innocence? I mean, it is this fountain of energy. It is a life-giving fountain within you. And of course, you're going to be betrayed and abused and all that crap because you're sitting there at the tail end of the Saturn line, and then you have this huge um, legacy with the Uranus line. So yeah, I'm not making light of it by saying, of course, that's what's going to happen. It's just like, so then it's about reclaiming the tenderness and the innocence, but having the adult present to protect all of that and still let it out, let it play, let it create beauty, let it bless other people. I'm sort of narrating your situation, and I hope that that isn't offensive. I want to be careful of, like, I want to stay in my lane, but I'm just kind of talking about the Five of Diamonds theme. It might resonate, it might not. So anyway, that was about all I had to say about that. When you're getting that homeopathic dose, you have to define the hurt. What is getting jabbed over and over again here? And why does it hurt? The next step is to just really feel the hurt. Get your mind out of it. The mind is useful to explain the injustice and what you were thinking in the present. Tell your story. How did that all happen? But then put the present aside and just allow the image of what age you might have been, what wound it might be. And sometimes the wound isn't clear. Like for me, the mother issue that I was having was, wow, I allowed my mom, January 1st, King of Spades, and I have an aunt who died recently who was the same birthday, and it's good to juxtapose them and go, oh, that energy. And I said to Stuart, I was like, you remember my Aunt Marianne? Well, the energy didn't you just feel this towering, like if you got on the wrong side of that woman, you'd be outside the fortress. You'd be out in the cold. You'd be in the path of the wrath. And I was like, you felt that with her, didn't you? And he's like, oh, yeah. Everyone feels that with Aunt Marianne. But for the most part, there's just this incredible kindness and generosity and do-gooding and just like unbelievable goodness in both she and my mother. But that is very daunting, that energy to grow up with. And so I realized that what I'm doing is trying to get out from underneath the overarching, the feminine, the mother archetype saying, I know you fully and completely. I define you. I get you. I get to sort of own the small print about you. I get to decide if you're judged or not, because I had this feeling of like, oh, even if I'm in the clear, there's that mother energy that has judged me and disqualified me. So it's like this crestfallen feeling. And I cannot attach that to any memory, not a single one. It's like, but I saw other people experience her wrath. And I did everything I could to stay inside that fortress, compromised myself, didn't speak up. And so in this situation I'm dealing with right now, my challenge is going to be, and it will come to this, I need to talk to you about some things in our friendship that I don't like, I don't appreciate. And I have not shared them with you because I'm a 9, because that's my survival. If I don't upset the mother figure, I'll be fine. And it's my number 2 greatest fear in life is upsetting a mother or a friend figure. And now I know why. And here it came knocking, and I'm like, okay, it's time to finally move through this one. Keto diet was the solution to the number 1 fear, which was dementia. And man, has my brain and body and skin and everything changed since I quit sugar. I'm going to make a whole video about sugar. Quit the sugar. It is 9 times more addictive than cocaine, and it is a relative of cocaine. And they have gotten us addicted, and it is killing us. Calm down, calm down. Okay, I'm going to read his comments. Yes, it's okay. Annual perfections helps with the figuring out the chronology of our life events. I feel like I have gaps in history, like I know things happen, but I have a hard time placing when classic Saturn Neptune, which is my Saturn. My Pisces is in Saturn, 59, Saturn returns still. And yeah, that is so interesting. I have gaps too. And also, so I just want to share this with you, Jeannie. This is a card thing. I am a 7 of diamonds. We had our wedding 2 years ago on September 4th, which is a 7 of Diamonds day. I said, let's just not add another frequency. Let's just stay with this one. Besides, I really like that date for some reason, September 4th. And then the day that we got together was in 2011 was May 29th. And when you add the days, okay, it's the 3 of Clubs. Shoot, 16 plus 42. Where did I do it? Oh, yeah. Oh, dang it. I think it adds up to the 7 of Diamonds is the insane thing, is that the planetary rule, oh, yeah, is the 3 of Spades. No, it's the 6 of Hearts. It's karmic relationship, which is my Pluto card. When I add today's composite to the composite of our wedding anniversary, I get the 7 of Diamonds. So like today we have 2 of Hearts, 7 of Diamonds, Jack of Hearts, 6 of Hearts is kind of in there, but it's just like, I'm just looking at this and just going, wow, 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 like the repeating themes of who we are and what we've come here to do and the difficulty of it. It's like, that's why it's so intense today. And it's like, whoa, just take a deep breath. And just, that's what I've been having to do all day, is just take a deep breath. And yeah, and just like, here's a really sweet little side note. So when I got up this morning, kind of knowing it was going to be a tough day, pop open my Bible, and Jesus has just gone into Jerusalem, and he gets all the hosannas, and then he goes into the money changers, and he turns that over. It's a very emotionally dynamic, incredibly emotionally dynamic day. And then he does all these healings, and everyone's really excited. And then he just gets this shit thrown at him from the Pharisees and Sadducees, and they're just like, "Who do you think you are?" Wah, 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 wah. And like, he's like, he responds to him, and then he's like, not having it. And he goes straight to Bethany. He goes back to where Lazarus lives, and it's his most intimate family type relationship with Lazarus, which he's just raised from the dead, and the 2 sisters, Mary and Martha. They're all really tight. And Jesus' message to me this morning was, go spend time with people who love you. You really need that support. You need to be with people who really, really love you. And a long lost friend who decided she couldn't be my friend a while back because of something really kind of ridiculous, but it was like, I love her so much. I'm like, whatever, give her the space. Well, she's come back around, suddenly has reappeared. And she's like, I want to get together with you. Let's go for an evening walk by the river. And so we're doing that later. It's just like, God is just like, there's this Rumi poem that God moves the bird cages around. You never know where he's going to move them, but they get moved, and then you have these different arrangements, and it's always the way it needs to be. It feels awkward, it feels uncomfortable. Sometimes we feel really challenged or blessed. And Wayne Dyer has a statement, like after he got through a certain amount of living and spiritual enlightenment, he said, I'm not living life, life is living me. I'm not doing Wayne, Wayne is doing me. And it's kind of nice to just sit back and go, yeah, that's sort of the dynamic of, you come in with all these frequencies, cards, these astrological things, all these typologies, the human design, and we're all kind of affecting each other's nervous systems. And it's just kind of what it is. And there you are inside of it, just being like, oh my God, this is so intense. And you just have to keep breathing and know that you are not all of that. You are an eternal, infinite being, and your body is just a place in space and time. It's an intersection for spirit to just exist. So, oh, good. Hey, Queen of Club. Nice to see you. Yeah, nice to hear you say hi. Yeah. So, Stuart's and my anniversary, our wedding anniversary, adds up to the Queen of Clubs. And that's another hugely prominent card in my thing. I remember coming across it like 4 times in a row in my own personal whatever cosmology of the cards, including being born in the hour of the Queen of Clubs. So Yeah, and if I were to consider the Five of Spades my planetary ruler because I'm Virgo rising, even though I'm a Leo, it's the Queen of Clubs again. It's like there she is again. So congratulations. Well, thank you. Yeah, we had our wedding 2 years ago. Um, come September 4th. But anyway, yeah, God, now I have 5 watchers and I've just decided that I'm done. So anyway, yeah, I am done. It's been a lot. This homeopathic stuff we're going through. Oh yes. Thank you for the happy birthday. That was August 6th. Thank you. And God, what else did I want to say? No, that was it. I wanted to ask, is everybody else going through this? This kind of like where you're getting a repetition of events that are exactly like a wound that you got, a really old wound, and the universe is like, okay, let's pull this one up to the surface. Even Maisie, my little 3 of Hearts, that's another frequency that keeps showing up over and over and over again. Yeah, I think that's my card for today. But anyway, Maisie had this little thing on her ear, and it's like you wanted to pick at it, but it was under the fur, under the skin, and then all of a sudden it was gone. And it's just like that example of like something coming to the surface and then it's gone. You feel it to heal it. My man and I got together on the Jack of Diamonds, 6 of Spades day. My Neptune is the Jack of Diamonds. So what's the Jack of Diamonds plus the 6 of Spades? What's your composite anniversary day card? So it's 45 plus 37. 37 plus 45 is 82 minus 52 is 30, which is 4 of Diamonds. 4 of Diamonds, that's your composite marital path, which has the Queen of Hearts and Saturn, and the 10 of Clubs and Uranus. This Lionsgate energy is waning down. Yes, finally. Neptune rules the spiritual bonds. Oh, right. Right, and your Neptune is the Jack of Diamonds. Yeah, man, it has to be a spiritual bond if you're going to take on, the karmic stuff. But yes, Lionsgate, it was super intense yesterday, and I was like, my energy's been all over the map. The ending of this year, a lot of you know, has just been incredibly challenging for me. And then it's like I had to slow down, numb out, rest, restore, and then birthday, and then it was great, rest, and then Lionsgate, the 8th, was like, boom, bat out of hell. The energy was like all of a sudden I'd been handed a sports car and they're like, put it into first and then second and go up that hill. And it was like, and then it sort of burned out because it was a lot of energy. It was really intense. And then I think by evening, my husband and I are like, ooh, we're both kind of touchy. I think we should just agree to not talk. 6 of Spades is the card of fate. Very intense. I put up a whole greenhouse for the winter. Oh, really? That is so cool. And that's the feeling that I've gotten from that Lionsgate too, is that it was about kind of establishing the future. And is Uranus kind of a future thing? And when is the full moon? Have we had it yet? But in conjunction, full moon and Uranus in this Leo Lionsgate, somehow it just feels like it was about establishing something in the future. Might be a good idea to look for a house in Michigan again. Anyway, shout out to my sister. She just had hip surgery yesterday, and she's been on some pretty good drugs. So she's been pretty good and getting better. It's really hilarious. The family text, she's like, oh, Frank Simmer. And everybody's like, what? But anyway, hey, no, it wasn't that bad, Terry. But anyway, Yeah, now I got 6 people. I guess I have to go for 44 minutes to get 7 people on here. I'm going to start announcing. I apologize that I have not done that. I just assume that I'm kind of doing this for my health and Jeannie, and then we sort of have this therapy, and then we get into cards and astrology, just the two of us in these videos. And I'm like, that is so worthwhile to me. But here's a little thing for the future. It's about breaking down what doesn't work to rebuild with a stronger foundation. Okay, that's good. Uranus, Aquarius, definitely futuristic characteristics, but breaking down the old for a stronger foundation. Well, that is definitely true. I mean, this difficulty that I'm having, where there's some deconstruction that has to happen, and if it survives the deconstruction, we're going to have a much stronger foundation. And I've gotten to a place of non-attachment with it. Non-attachment, strangely available with the Uranus full moon. Yeah. And also in this theme that I was going through, it was like I kept getting this experience. People won't answer the door. My own therapist friend can't witness me in this difficulty I'm having. My friend is ghosting me. My husband didn't even realize I was gone, even though I had a flat tire and was sort of in crisis for a couple of hours. And then I was like, God sees me. God sees me. That's what I had to come to. I was like, I am internally resourced. That's where I have to go with this. Oh, worthwhile for you too. I'm so glad to hear that, Jeannie. And it looks like it's sinking back down to just you and me at the end here. Non-attachment is also Aquarius too. It's the sign of ghosting. Oh my God, right? And interestingly, this person who's ghosting me, I have 2 watchers and 2 lights. She's a 2. And it's like the ultimate sin for a 2 to ghost somebody. And I think that's really good for her to have that experience, to ghost somebody. Okay, now it's just down to you and me. So someone suggested, Jeannie, that it's the person who was kind of the ghost presence in our class, the last class we had with Robert, suggested that you and I teach a beginner card class together. And I was like, yeah, there is definitely some kind of synergistic thing that happens when we're together talking about stuff. It's so cool. I just love it. So think about that, and how we might advertise that and do that and that kind of thing. I think that could be really fun. And we could just see how many people we get for the first introductory class. Maybe plan like 4 classes of just introductory stuff and just kind of see how it goes. And then we can maybe develop like the first rubric, the second rubric. And in fact, look at this. Here's the notebook I've been doing all night. This is just, my chicken scratch. Look what's on the other side of the page. Card classes. Began outlining these beginning cards because I was like, I just really want to upload the whole course. I want to bequeath the world with my knowledge, everything that I've learned. I just need to get in legacy mode. And then it just kind of didn't happen. But working with you feels like so much more dynamic. This felt like looking into the past for me, whereas working with you feels like working with current energies and being in a really dynamic place in the present. So I'm really glad that you're excited about that. That is so cool. So, yay! Yes, 100%. So yes, thank you, Jean. She'll probably be watching. Thank you for that seminal suggestion. She does that too, that 6 of diamonds, as well as send me all the best book titles always. So anyway, love to all of you. Love to you, Dr. Sue, anybody else that was watching. Big giant hugs. This was a difficult topic, and I just trust the universe, trust your soul. Trust the intelligence that's guiding you and bringing you these experiences, and try to thank the perpetrators, the people causing the injustice and the hurt. Thank them, because they're part of that whole homeopathic dose of, let's just get rid of this program. I don't want to attract this wound anymore. I don't believe what that thing said about me anymore. I literally have people hounding me to teach an intro class. What? Oh my God. Well, totally. We can totally do it then. It's like maybe we just needed each other alchemically to make this happen. So of course now we have to find what is 33 plus 31 is 64, which is the Queen of Hearts. And she's really badass. But then we would also have to, really what we should do is add my 14 to your, what's yours? Yours is 31 plus the 9 of diamonds is 35. 66. Ooh, I was born in 66. Minus 52 is 4. What? Right? 14. Yes, we have the same thing. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, so 14 plus 14, I forgot that, is 28, which is the 2 of diamonds. Business partnership. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's crazy. That's so crazy. I just can't believe it. I was totally with that right now. I should not have said that. Anyway, let's talk soon. You guys, I love you. Have a really great rest of your day. You are up to your own life. You're up to it. You can do it. Okay, bye.